Hello and welcome to another Monday night stream. Let me just make sure. Make sure I've got the right video up. Also make sure the sound's working. Yeah, okay, it is. Yeah. So, hold on, I've got this set on the wrong category. How do I change that? Film and animation. There we go. Okay, so Homeworld's done. I thought it might be a good idea to go back to some Star Wars content. So I'm going to be doing some director's commentary on the last two chapters, because I always do two at a time, and until I finished 30 I didn't actually have two ready to go, so here we are. Masquerade, hello, welcome, and Girl of the Pigeon, you're most welcome. I'm glad you enjoy it. Chapter 31 is well underway. I am not doing any streaming for the making of it, because I want all of you to see it completed for the first time you see it, to be completed. So if I'm streaming the making of it, it kind of spoils the fun of getting to see it for the first time. So I've been struggling a bit with what to actually stream, which is why I replayed Homeworld, which isn't strictly Star Wars, but it's a game that I think Thrawn would enjoy. And then, of course, in the middle of that, I did finish Chapter 30, which has gone up back on May the 4th. And I'll be doing the commentary for it. Nico, hello. Always nice to see you. I'm looking forward to 31 as well. It's a lot of work. For those who've read the book will understand. Something like that. Todd E, I got a notification, can't stay but glad I get to tell you that I'm so happy you're bringing Legends to life, especially original Sound Thrawn series. Well, I'm sorry you can't stay, but I'll answer you quickly. That's some very kind words. I've really enjoyed working on this, and I'm glad you enjoyed watching it. If you want to catch up with this stream later, assuming the copyright bots don't protest the music, they've got a little bit tighter recently. This stream will be on the channel, so you can catch up with it whenever you're ready to. So there we go. I'm watching it later. Oh, that's good to hear. Anyway, well, take care. Thank you for stopping by, and I hope to see you at future streams and future premieres for the remaining two chapters of the book. Now, with these commentaries, the chapters aren't that long, so I'm going to talk just for 10 minutes or so, just for people to join us here, and then I'll get started on 29. I had a lot of fun making that 29. Action sequences are quite demanding. And chapter 29 is a big action sequence. Of course, 31 is the biggest action sequence out of the entire book, which is why it's such a challenging one to make. But so yeah, I modified a few things in 29 to make it work. Because the way that it works in the book, it's hard to animate, so I had to change the way the battle flows. Everything, all the important stuff still happens, just slightly differently from the book. Because obviously when Timothy Zahn wrote it, he wasn't thinking about how it would look visually. He was writing a novel. I wouldn't expect him to be wanting to make it easy for me many years later. So I try and stick as close to the book as possible, but sometimes things that are written in the book don't work in visual form, so adjustments have to be made. DS read the book, but it was a while back, so looking forward to getting the refresher once the final chapter is complete. Yeah, you've still got 2 more to go, but when you see 31, you're going to remember it quite well, I would imagine. I've been making really good progress with it. Most of the audio recordings are in. I've done a lot of motion capture for it. Not all of the motion capture for it. And I'm working on taking the motion capture I've got and processing that and animating those characters. And I've also been working on some of the space footage for it. That's the hardest part actually, because there's a lot going on. But I can't wait to finish it and show you guys. I'm so excited for it. I'll wait until 10 past and then I'll get started on the commentary. Actually, I'm going to have a quick drink of water while I'm waiting. Got 3 minutes to go, so. Excuse me for that. I'm going to be talking. I need to be hydrated. Well, we've got this still image of the Merca forest here. And this bird. It's some kind of bat creature. I can't remember where I found it from, but I've used it a few times. I used it in the Dagobah scenes, and I used it on the Kashyyyk scenes. And it's just kind of this weird alien-looking creature. It's always good for an alien bird, despite the fact that I've reused it on 3 different planets. So yeah, we've got the forest, and we've got Hilliard City there in the background. Teary Eyes Anderson, I remember reading all 3 books and really enjoying them. I even got the West End Games source books for them, for the 3. Excellent. So I didn't become aware of the West End Games until after it is finished. I had no idea about tabletop role-playing or anything like that. But I do have ebook copies of the source books for the trilogy. And they're very useful for reference, especially making this. And they're very interesting as well, because Timothy Zahn was actually involved with writing those and providing content for them. And yeah. So 1 more minute and then we'll get started on the commentary. Now there's a danger here that I'm just going to get so absorbed watching it that I forget to talk. Actually, one thing I'm going to do is lower the volume a bit so you can hear me talk over the sound of all the blaster fire. If it is too quiet, or if I'm too quiet over the sound, let me know in the chat, and I will adjust things accordingly. I watched the Disney sequel trilogy and thought it was a bad ending. The characters look there in hand. I much prefer this story. That's completely fair enough. Alright, it's 10 past, so I'm going to get started. So I'll press play and I will ramble on about making this thing. Do let me know if there's any problems with the volume. Or, here we go. So animating all those stormtroopers is a lot more demanding on the system than I expected, because they're slightly shiny. But it was fun. And then so was this. I took a lot of inspiration from Rogue One, the Jeddah ambush.
I think we're in trouble. Not to mention Lando and the others.
How good are you at causing distractions?
Terrific.
So I do a lot of motion capture for this, but I don't do the stunt work. So when the stormtroopers are being blasted around, I didn't do that. I don't want to break the suit. I don't want to break me.
I'm counting on it.
Also didn't do this bit where he falls off the roof.
I thought you said your Jedi could stop that.
We've just got to give them. Oh!
That one I did do, Lando being hit. Also, doing motion capture for hand, jumping on a stormtrooper and falling over like that was an interesting experience. I thought it was important not to have Mara shooting back, because at this point she still loves the Empire, so she wouldn't want to shoot at the stormtroopers. Now this scene where the arch comes down, I had to render that about 20 times to get it right, because the bricks are all driven by physics, so getting it to look right took multiple attempts, because each time was slightly different, and then I would adjust things. And then we just have a moment of quiet at the end there, where Luke's just kind of standing there, surrounded by the bodies and the dust from all the destruction. Mara here reminds me from the lady from the two newest Jumanji movies. You mean Karen Gillan? I'm going to find the arch coming down again. Let's watch this again, because I'm so proud of the way this has turned out. I had to try and figure out, the archway needed to be big, because the chariot assault vehicle had to fit underneath it. But that meant it would be bigger than Luke's lightsaber. So in the end, the idea was he kind of cuts into it in a way that it would, the piece would topple, that would slide out, which I couldn't animate that bit because it was wasn't quite sure how to pull that off. But the idea is that he makes a big chip in it, and then it just can't take the weight, and the whole thing comes down. You know, like when you see in cartoons where they chop a section out of a tree, like a triangle shape, and then the whole tree comes down. That's what I was thinking. All right, let's watch this again, because I'm so pleased with this. And if you look really closely, let's go back a little bit. The play bars that are blocking the view. Underneath, there's a load of stormtroopers running along, and a lot of them get caught underneath the archway. Again, I didn't motion capture myself being crushed by bricks. I found lots of stock animations of people being shot and falling and stuff like that. So they get the archway landing on them, which means that cards people can finish off the few stormtroopers that are in there. There we go. the final shot. So yeah, that was 29. And yeah, I'm really pleased with how that turned out. Alright, so let's move on to 30. This is not an action-packed sequence, but again, I'm still very pleased with how it turned out. Showing the aftermath. I probably should have put some bodies in here, but I felt like it's a little bit too grisly, and the cards people probably would have cleared them away. So yeah, let's get started.
One man, and without the force.
Slightly brighter because it's a little bit later in the day.
We might be able to hunt down the other Imperials before they get a chance.
I always got the impression that the ambush in 29 was early morning, and this would be a couple of hours later, so it's full daylight.
You're probably right. You want me to head back and start the evacuation?
You got Mara talking in the background. In the book, it's described that she's there, but she doesn't interact with any of the characters. It's her last scene in the book, so I felt like
See you later.
I needed to acknowledge that by just having her there.
I owe you one.
Are you still going to get the other way out of impoundment for me?
I said I would. Where do you want it delivered?
Just leave it on a burger. Interesting picture.
It worked.
That it did. Likely saving several of my people's lives. Obviously, we're going to have to pull out of here before the Imperials figure out what's happened. You wouldn't happen to have any surplus cargo or stripped down military ships, would you?
That's why we're here, remember? But I'll see what I can do.
They do kind of owe card for that, although he kind of brought it on himself, trying to play both sides
Looking after him.
off against each other.
Any problem with the tow cable?
Not so far.
The volume's a little bit low on purpose because
Good.
I need to be able to be heard.
Christian company?
You never know. Card said there were still some Imperials on account of
So here we go, finally escaped from Mirko
the last-ditch attack was better than reporting back to the Grand Admiral.
in the
Grand Admiral.
Falcon cockpit.
Yeah, that's who seems to be running the show for the Empire.
I thought we'd gotten rid of all the Grand Admirals.
Me too.
If you want to get the full audio, you can.
Card wouldn't give me his name.
The chapter is
Maybe
on
he
the
and Bart
channel,
could
so
use that
there,
Star Cruiser.
it's there ready for you.
You okay?
I'm fine. It was the Force coming back to me. I didn't
I like
get a
this
chance to say this earlier, but
Moment, it's
Thank
quiet
you.
before the storm,
No charge. And I didn't get to say it earlier.
especially Han's last line of the scene.
Dragged in.
Mara assures me it'll wear off in a few hours.
Yeah, Mara. She's
I like the way that Han's teasing him about Mara as well.
Don't count on it. Where are we going? Coruscant?
a little side trip first. I want to swing by Sluistan. See if we can get Lando and your X-Wing fixed up. Something's about to happen on Coruscant. So enjoy. This will probably be the last peace and quiet you'll get for a while.
He has no idea what's coming. No peace and quiet at Sluis Van. We've got this going for them. I had to find a freighter model that was just a piece of junk. You can see it there in the fleet.
All ships are online, sir.
Also, the music
Striking shields
is from the Ahsoka soundtrack.
Fighters stand ready.
It was nice to be able to have a little bit more of Thrawn's
Time log, 14 hours and 10 minutes.
theme to play around with. Matt Finish, hello and welcome. For those who don't know, Matt Finish is one of the voice actors in the show. He voices so many characters. You got Han, 3PO, Admiral Akbar, Luke, Wedge, Lando, Obi-Wan. You should go check out his channel. He's got some very impressive videos on there.
Perhaps we should send someone to investigate. We could probably spare a strike cruiser.
No, this Louis Van operation is our primary concern at the moment. Card and his betrayal will keep for later.
Lighting the Star Destroyer bridge is kind of
Order
tricky.
to proceed.
because you want things to be seen, but they're not that well lit, even in the Empire Strikes Back, which is where you get to see most of the bridge. So yeah, there's the piece of junk freighter disappearing off into hyperspace.
Ready, Captain.
The Chimera is fully at your command, Admiral.
We will follow in exactly 6 hours and 20 minutes. Remind all ships that our task is to engage and pin the system defenses only.
I've deliberately stayed away from the motion comic version because I don't want to be influenced by it. But I'll probably watch it when I finish my interpretation of the story.
Yes, Admiral.
Remind them too that our final victory over the rebellion begins here.
Such a sinister line. There we go. Chapter 30. Yeah. That's all gonna be a huge clash in 31, which is coming along quite nicely. So yeah, that's my commentary completed. It's a shorter stream than usual. I'll stay and chat with you guys for a little bit longer. One of the things I did have to do was stop using Roman numerals for this one, because I wasn't sure if the copyright bots would complain about it. Not the copyright, the censor bots. So if anyone's wondering why it says chapter 30 rather than the Roman numerals. Sort of like Peter Jackson watching the animated Lord of the Rings and steer the feet. Thanks for the commentary. Yeah, sort of like that. Thank you for the commentary. I always enjoy these. Well, thank you for being part of the show, because I wouldn't have been able to make it without you. But yeah, every time I've got 2 chapters, it's nice to be able to come on here and talk about them and share a little bit of insight into making each one, or some of the thought processes that went into it. Assuming I don't get distracted by the scenes I'm watching and forget to talk, because that does happen too. But yeah, I'm really pleased with how these have been received, and looking forward to the next 2, the final 2 of the book, especially the next one, which is coming along really well. A lot of work, but so worth it. So it's also nice you have time to chat with the fans. I love it. Well, you guys are why I continued making it. I only made chapter 1 as a test project. I had no intention of making any more of it. Then you all showed up and said, please make more, and I was so overwhelmed by the response that yeah, it's nice to be able to come and chat with you guys, because I wouldn't be here making this without you. The Star Wars, yeah, that yes, it would, and that's not what I'm going to be making. I'm sure someone else out there has done it. So I think I'm going to wrap up the stream there. Yeah, it was a short one, but there isn't really much else to say at the moment. So thank you all for coming. Please continue to share the series and watch it again. And I look forward to sharing chapter 31 with you when it's finished. I can't imagine how much work it took. I made a building. Yeah. It's a lot of work, but I have so much fun doing it, so it's good. Anyway, that's going to be it. So have a good night, or good evening, or good day, depending on where you are. May the Thrawn be with you, and I will see you all next time. And hopefully 31 will be finished soon. Take care, and good night.